In this interaction, we will try to learn how to write a good title for your research project. People often say, what is there in a name? But there is a lot in a name. A good title or a name for your research project can mean higher probability of acceptance by the reviewers of your manuscript or your dissertation, higher retrievability when your peer group is searching for your article in platforms like PubMed or Embase. Higher retrievability means higher number of reads of your article by your peers and higher number of citations. For this purpose, writing a good title is very important for a research project. For example, I want to conduct a study to see among elderly diabetic population using a smart pill box as compared to the standard care will lead to better compliance and better blood sugar values at the end of 1 year using a randomized controlled study. If you see the important components of this particular study, and if you take out the first letters of these key components, it will come out like an acronym PICOT. If I add study design also, it will give rise to PICOST, PCOST. Many of the standard international guidelines in writing research manuscripts usually recommend a title containing all these components, PCOT or PCOST. For example, for this study, if I want to write a simple title, is the smart pill box better than your spouse? I'm giving a question mark. Is this a good title? Yeah, it's a very attractive title, very fancy title. It generates lots of curiosity. But the scientific value of this particular title is very poor. It may be a very good title for a blog post or for a newspaper item which immediately draws the attention of the readers, but for a manuscript or for a dissertation, this is not a great title. Let us see how to write a good title using these components. A randomized controlled trial to compare smart pill box and standard care in compliance and glycemic control among elderly diabetic population. This looks a lengthy and boring title, but it contains all the essential components of your PCOT or PCOST. What will happen if you are writing a title like this? Whenever your peer group is searching for this kind of article in PubMed or Embase, is a higher chances of retrievability. For this reason, the acceptance by the reviewers will be higher and higher number of reads and higher number of citations, as I have already pointed out. So the bottom line is you have to list out the PCOST of your proposed study, and you try to stitch together all these components in a smooth way to get a good title. Let us look at one or two other examples. I wish to assess the knowledge, attitude and practices of lactating mothers about the breastfeeding. Let us see what is the PCOST of this study. Population is lactating women. Intervention, I am not doing any intervention, so it is not applicable. Comparator group, I am taking only one group, so there is no comparator group. The outcome is knowledge, attitude and practices, KAP. And timeline, I am not looking at any timeline. I am doing a simple cross-sectional study or a descriptive study at an instantaneous point of time. So in this particular study, only 3 things are applicable out of PCOST. Population, lactating women, outcome, KAP, and study design, a cross-sectional study. So how to write a title for this particular study? A cross-sectional study to assess the knowledge, attitude and practices of lactating women about breastfeeding. That would be a simple and scientific title. Let us look at another example. I want to take a group of patients with stroke, a healthy control group, and would like to see what risk factors are associated with stroke. So for this, I would like to do a case, that is stroke and healthy controls case control study. Let us look at PCOST for this study. What is the population? It is the adult population. What is the intervention? Even though it is not an intervention study, there are 2 groups. One group, that is I or the study group, is the stroke patients. The comparator group is healthy controls. Outcomes I am looking at, I am comparing between these 2 groups are the risk factors And then study design is a case control study. There is no timeline specified because it is a backward looking study. So to stitch together a case control study to assess the risk factors for stroke among adult population. This would be a simple and scientific title. So very simple. First, understand what you are trying to do in your study. List out PICOST and then stitch them together in a sentence formation. Then apply your English skills to take out the redundant words, to cut down the lengthy parts, and then come out with a simple and scientific title which is very easy and smooth to read without missing any major components of PCOST. I wish all of you will end up writing a great title for your scientific study following this video. Having a good companion is vital for a smooth and enjoyable research journey. Even though you have so many tools available in the market for research, the journey with coGUIDE is very simple, fun and exciting, of high scientific standards, and can have real boost on your research career and also your clinical practice. So what are you waiting for? Log into coGUIDE.in today, invite all your friends and colleagues, keep abreast with all the biomedical research developments across the globe by logging onto our social media platforms. Have a enjoyable research journey. Thank you so much.